Khalwale maybe can respond because we have this also particular clip from the Sunny Nation. Bullfighting Khalwale upstages Ruto's allies in Western Kenya. Khalwale appears to be mellowing and rising to be Ruto's pointsman in Western region. In fact, also some of the Harambees, I think you are actually the person who's being sent to preside over Harambees in Western Kenya. All right. On October the 6th, Mr. Khalwale represented Mr. Ruto at Harambee in aid of Christchurch in Amalemba. Tellingly, he was with Frank Kibet, Mr. Ruto's long-serving aide. But we need to remind you what Mr. Ruto said about you. He said it's unfortunate that all Khalwale does is feed bulls on bang and other drugs and then head to bullfighting contest. He's a leader without a vision and has nothing meaningful to offer his community. This is what Mr. Ruto said at a campaign rally at Mahoho Secondary School. You remember that?
Go on.
It's done.
Okay, now, this is the answer.
And you have said, we just want to see this turnaround, of course, on you as well, that the Luyas have supported Raila Odinga for 15 good years, but we have nothing to show for it. Time has come to make new friends, including the Kalenjin, who are our neighbors, because we wasted time campaigning for Mr. Odinga.
Thank you. If you must debate me, you must face me with facts. Nothing less, nothing more. Tell me, in that statement, what I have said which is not factual. A, have we supported Raila for 15 years? The answer is yes. After the 15 years...
You have nothing to show for it?
Do we have anything to show for it? The answer is no. The intention of supporting him was for him to lead us into government. First round, second round, third round, 15 years later, he has failed. What is not true about that? But more importantly now, to answer you, let me answer you using my community's parable of the Luya leopard.
Yes.
The hunting skills of a leopard. A leopard subdues the prey, not so much because of its speed, but because of the hunting skills. How? When the animal is grazing, antelope for example, it sees the leopard perched on the tree, and it counts one leopard. The leopard runs and goes to the valley. The same antelope sees it, counts another leopard. It jumps again and goes to an anthill and perches there. Then the antelope fears that there are so many leopards, one on the tree, one on the antelope, in the valley, another one on the anthill, and it's going to be subdued. Ladies and gentlemen of the Orange Democratic Movement, you are now faced with the hunting skills of the bullfighter of Kakamega. I'm going to defeat you the way I have defeated you 4 times before.
Okay. Yes.
Because I think Khalwale, having admitted
after Khalwale, I think it is Senator Cheruiyot. We'll come to you. We're going sequentially. Everyone has his time. Senator Cheruiyot.
Khalwale has kept challenging the two of us. That's why.
No,
so there are no questions for Cheruiyot or Guri. So we need to deal with
this. You will. Senator Cheruiyot, please.
You know, what is happening to Boni Khalwale is similar to something I've watched happen this week to a good friend of mine called Muhammad Ali, he of the Jijopevu fame.
Yes.
Where fellows like Otiende and Jakoyo and people from leaders from the ODM formation are the most intellectually dishonest people you'll ever come to meet. They're dishonest because when you are with them, you pass every test that one can imagine of being a leader. You are a Democrat, you are a man of impeccable character, but the minute you cast your lot with someone they do not like, all of a sudden, like Jakoya has just made the revelations about money exchanging hands, it is because either you have been bought, you've been compromised, or all those kind of adjectives that they used to describe other people. The thing that I want to say to you this morning is in a very simple and sincere manner. Accept what Boni Khalwale is telling you, that you are not the SI unit for either democracy or progressive leadership in this country. That people can look elsewhere and see solutions where there is none on your side. And there shouldn't be a whole facade and debate about it. When people do not agree with you, allow them to do it peacefully, Jakoyo. Do not call them name, do not call them thieves, do not call them all these kind of things that you used to describe those who hold different political persuasions. And there is a history to it, because every time you do that, it first starts by calling someone a bad name, and then the second minute you know, you become violent towards them, which is not fair.
What are you saying?
So,
wait.
No.
Hold on. What are you saying? That we are usually violent? Or what are you saying on national TV?
I have said it starts with first calling someone a bad name. Then the second thing that will follow is that you'll become violent towards them. Like the old English, English saying.
NASA team of that or what? I just want to get you clearly. Then I'll respond. Who are you accusing of that?
Yes.
That we in NASA call people names, then we are violent.
Yes.
Really?
Is it not true?
We'll get back to that.
Deba, I told you not to give Senator Cheriot a chance because he's speaking the same language as Boni.
Just like you're
And their language,
See, they're on the same tough now.
but Otiende is an intelligent man. You know, when I speak the same language as him,
How can you insult Jeriot that is not intelligent?
No.
Which example have you sat with him?
Same language as Otiende.
No, that is not fair.
No.
No, that is not fair.
No, Boni, you had a
No, I have
No,
not said that.
No.
Those are your words. But
When your corner,
No. Boni
debate-
Khalwale, excuse me. I'm
debate-
sorry to butt in.
don't throw
No.
brickbats. Debate.
But now you also
Cheriot is here.
Let him finish.
He's here.
now you are
He's
just
going to join.
interrupting. First of all, let me say this. Boni Khalwale has just admitted on national television that they were paid money by Americans to bungle Kenyan
Those are your own
elections.
ones.
He has just said, and I invite all and sundry to listen to what he has just said, that Orengo, Kiraitu was given money by the Americans. They need to reveal. He has just said, and that was my original allegation, that they were compromised to do a bad law for Kenyans. And I had said that I think 893 million worth of satellite phones were occasioned by that law, and they never arrived until after the elections. Boni has, Boni, let me just make another accusation, which you may never have been paid, or Moses. But I also know many things happened in winter at night. And don't you dare me, because I can.
But you need to be clear. Is it political or otherwise? When you're talking about
No,
Windsor?
it was meant to do a law that favored the Jubilee government. And I refused. I haven't looked at my own party leader in the eye and I told him, you live to regret it. I told him. Because I knew what was happening. And I said it on the floor of the House. I did. If you go at the debate that Thursday, the first day the report was tabled, said this is not a good law for our elections. And the systems were not listening to me. And they live to regret it. Hence the handshake. Now, what I wanted to say to Boni is that Raila Odinga is the barometer for Kenyan politics. Because he has died for it, he has suffered for it, the constitution is in his name. He is the one, and I can tell you, if we don't use the Raila Uhuru handshake to reorganize this country, we will never have a country to speak with, to speak of.
Thank you.
In the next couple of days. But lastly, Debao, I wanted to persuade my brother Otiende about this issue of courts in politics. Please, let us change the constitution. Let us do this thing called party list. Let us give the dictatorial powers to the so-called party owners. It is costing individuals too much money and too much emotion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moses Kura, you refuse, or you're not
totally
holding
refuse that.
So has he expounded on how you were
just a
bribed?
moment. You will get your chance, please.
Has he?
Can we hear from Moses Kura?
Nothing but utmost respect for the Honorable Raila Odinga. He's my friend of several decades. Someone I know very well. But this whole thing of saying so and so is a barometer of this country. Am I the thermometer? Can't I be the thermometer myself? No. If that one's a barometer.
No, you are very perfect.
It is totally wrong, and it's this personalizing. Instead of creating the democratic culture, instead of creating institutions that are going to outlast me and you. But there is one thing I know about Raila Odinga, is that one day he'll die, just like I will. So we cannot predicate the whole country on one man. And this whole thing of changing constitution to bribe him to be peaceful. I am peaceful because the constitution and because our national values and ethos require of me, obligate me to be peaceful and to be civilized and to be civil. But this whole thing of let's do the constitution to bribe him so that he can accept and to be peaceful and to be... No, I'm not sure even that is what Raila would want himself. But you guys have created a monster out of an otherwise innocent man who, he should be just primus inter pares, first among equals, even within your party. So what does that make such an intelligent brain like Otiende Amolo?
But Moses Kuria,
he's not a thermometer, a barometer, a telescope, or whatever it is. It's totally wrong.
but listen to what Mutai Ngunyi says, Moses Kuria. He says that he describes ODM leader as a grandmaster of politics of change. And he says, quote unquote, that is not it. I'm just reading. He says, no one can smell change as freshly as Raila does. And that is why we cannot argue with him over the referendum. If Raila says it will happen, it will surely happen. This is Mutai Ngunyi, the political analyst. No. This is just a moment. You want to respond to that because you're the one who's saying that.
It's a packet of crap, my friend.
It's a packet of crap.
Yes, because we need to believe
just
in 45 million
Let me
Kenyans.
finish. Yes.
This whole thing that our what do you call the true north of this country is Raila Odinga is fatally wounded. It is not sustainable anymore. And I really want to support what my good friend Senator is saying. That Charity Ngilu was once called very bad names, including names which are like not acceptable from a masculine perspective. So the minute she moved from ODM, Musalia Mudavadi was a thief of cemetery. Kalonzo Musyoka, but the minute they move to the other side, salvation happens. And it's because milk and honey, and they all lived like in the Garden of Eden.
But using a strong verbiage like the thief of the cemetery, that is a very strong verbiage to use with any.
That's what they called him that time. The minute you move to ODM, all your sins are forgiven. And you are journey to heaven.
Thank you.
They give you a ticket.
No, everybody deserves a second
Just
chance.
Just a moment. We'll come to... I think we need just to give you a piece of...
Khalwale has spoken 3 times before I've spoken.
Okay.
I need to at least respond.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to respond.
Yeah,
to you,
that's fine. No. And you posed a couple of questions to me, which remain unanswered. Now, my friend, Senator Cheruiyot, who usually is a very calm and collected man, has today claimed that NASA followers call people names and then become violent. I will not debate with that. I will let the Kenyans handle that if they think it is true or otherwise. But in terms of name calling, I am not sure anybody in this panel has done better than my friend Moses Kuria. I certainly have not called, even Dr. Khalwale, who I challenged, I never called him any name. Senator Cheruiyot here knows I have never called him any name. So to accuse us in us of calling people names and becoming violent, maybe he has his evidence which he will table later. Now, Dr. Khalwale asks me, what is wrong with him changing course and supporting someone else? Of course, and I stated it. There is nothing wrong, and that's the same question Senator Cheruiyot is posing. My problem with Dr. Khalwale's current political position is twofold. One, when you support someone, come out and say you support them. Dr. Khalwale has chosen the route of supporting DP William Ruto, but does not want to come out and admit that. Instead, he wants to frame it differently. He says, I am the deputy leader of Ford Kenya, and if Ford Kenya chooses to work different from ODM, it is their choice. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not really where he is. Your friends are known by those you work with, those you pray with, those you sing with, and sometimes those you sleep with. Now, it is clear, and as you read the report, everything my friend Dr. Boni Khalwale has done in the last 2 months point in only one direction, that he has chosen to cast his loss to the Deputy President. There's nothing wrong with that, except that he's framing it, and that's the second problem. Instead of framing it as a matter of political choice by Dr. Khalwale, He's framing it as a matter of political choice by the community called Luyas against Raila, who is Luo. And so he frames it by saying, Luyas have supported Raila for 15 years. There's nothing to show for it. It is time we now moved our own way. Now, who made Dr. Boni Khalwale the official Luya spokesperson? And when you then say, for 15 years we've supported Raila and there's nothing to show for it, he forgets that in that course, the deputy to the prime minister was Musalia Mudavadi. He forgets that in that time, there were a significant number of cabinet slots from Luya land, even more than from Luo land, and you could count. But more importantly, he forgets that in all that time, the reason they were supporting Raila was to be president. He has never been president. So whatever that the hope was that you would get when he's president, he's yet to reach there. So how do you then blame a man? He himself wanted to be governor of Kakamega. Anybody who comes and says that I've supported Boni Khalwale to be governor, he has not delivered anything as governor, would be lying, because he's not gotten there. My last point is this. I think it is good to debate things for what they are. I think we should focus, and I agree with Jacoy on this. But all these things should not be disjointed. The idea of changing dates that Chris Wamala is bringing, the idea of changing the structure in terms of election that my friend Kaluma is bringing, all these things should be structured in the context of re-examining the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Now, for me, the question of removing the judiciary from politics cannot be considered without considering the system of government. If you truly want to remove the judiciary from politics, then you must consider a parliamentary system. That is where the decisions are in a controlled environment, including who becomes president or prime minister, as the case may be, including removing them. It will not be for the court to interfere, because then parliament becomes that scene. And if you go that way, a lot of things will happen. One, if you go the full parliamentary way, including with proportional representation, even a lot of questions in terms of petitions will not arise. So taking them to court or not taking them. So my context is, these things should be all looked at as a package. And I agree that we should take the advantage of the Building Bridges initiative, but also consider it alongside other things that must happen, like looking at the boundaries of constituencies, looking at the number of seats, and all those, so that we deal with them in the constitutional review contemplated.
All right.
My comment is only limited to the assertion about my brother Jacoyo, that his party leader is the barometer of the politics of this country. I can assure you that could very well be true, looked at in the prism of your community. And if your community has chosen that he's the barometer of your politics, we who come from outside have a different view, i.e., that the future of this country, and indeed the future of democracy in the entire African continent, does not lie in strong personalities, but strong institutions. If you think I'm lying, ask yourself, if indeed he's the barometer, that was put to test in 1997. It was repeated in 2007, 2013, and 2017, when he was a candidate for president. How come, if he was the barometer, he did not win those elections?
Actually, I think it's a barometer for losing. The losing is so consistent.
No.
How to lose?
Here's my comment.
Okay.
Here's my comment.
Yes, please.
You know, the Jacoyo said something quite telling, because when I asked him if he said my views are flawed because we agree with Boni Khalwale, and he's intelligent because he agrees with Otiende Amolo. And you know, the thing that pricks me about it is that Jacoyo is the least qualified person to define what intelligence is or what it is not. Because here comes a man who, among us, 45 million Kenyans, we have looked for a presidency. But for all the elections that he has voted, all he sees is a man from his tribe, and not just among us his tribesmen, a cousin, his to cousin. Be specific. That he sees nobody else qualified. Then can such a man really advise us on intelligence?
Briefly.
We supported Kibaki.
I voted for Kibaki.
Because of your cousin?
Yes, because of my cousin. The barometer. Because of the barometer. The barometer of politics. You know, it would really amaze me to leave these studios thinking that Boni Khalwale thinks Raila lost 207 elections.
But we're not going there.
No. That's what Boni has said.
Briefly, can you just...
But what I wanted to say, Deba, the change we need to make as a country, now talking about the change of the Kaluma's bill and all those things, in context, we must do an election where, first of all, money is not an issue. I think we are spoiling our people with money. The people who have stolen from our public coffers are pumping in too much money, including the money Boni Khalwale is working with today in churches. Stolen money, 100%. Number two, the politics that we want is not that one that puts us apart. Moses Kuria, let me advise you for free, because we rarely see you here. Today that we have you, I must take 10 seconds just to tell you that the issue of Kikuyus and Kalenjins in this country, the person who will sort out the two of you is Raila Odinga. And if you don't look at it very carefully, you will have a lot of problems, because I'm now a private citizen, and I hear what they are saying. And I hear what you just let me with Chariot here outside the door, away from the microphone. What he will say is not what you think you want to hear. Thank you very much.
Okay, Moses Kuri, you want to get a rejoin on that?
You know, first of all, I want to object to Senator Chariot saying that Honorable Jakoyamidi's views are because he is Raila's cousin. So on behalf of all Raila's cousins, let me protest and say that's not the right way to look at it. We have got our own independent views irrespective. But this whole thing of, first of all, a parliamentary system. We were told the other day that some members of parliament, by their own account, they were being bribed with as little as 10,000 shillings.
3,000.
3,000 inside the toilet. So if you give us the power to elect a president, he will be nicknamed Bonacho. Yeah, because he has been elected from toilet. I am warning Kenyans. Do not give us, I'm a member of parliament, look at me. Do not give us the power to elect who is going to be your leader. Because we are going to be given shit money in the toilet, yeah? And that is the kind of shitty leader we are going to give you. Don't make that mistake. And if you do that, don't say I didn't warn you. Now, in terms of, the allegation, I mean, this whole notion about Kikuyus, Kalenjins, prophets of doom have been, trying to predict all manners of, apocalyptic outcomes in terms of these relationships. But I always say, and we are being told to change the constitution so that we bring Kenyans together. Kikuyus and Kalenjins did it in 2013. We came together. There was no constitution. We didn't change anything. And this is what I'm calling the operating system. By the way, if we remove the pretense and the hypocrisy of this country, we will be united tomorrow. Even if you write 45 pieces of constitutions or the laws, and you don't change our souls and our hearts, you're not going to achieve anything.
Thank you.
So I want to mind the handshake. I love the handshake.
Thank you.
I love the fact that I can walk in Kisumu and freely and without Otieno Molo setting his
Thank you,
goods.
Moses.
But the fact that we give to ourselves a constitution that told us every 5 years, go to the polls and look for leaders of your own choice.
Thank you. Just to get also clarification from you, Boni, because I think Aaron Cheriot, as we're winding up right now, had mentioned that you could be the SIU unit, of course, of the Luo politics. Have you also turned out to be a prophet? Because you say that you will show the community the direction to take in the 2022 general election.
I think it is not fair for you as a journalist.
But this is your sentiment.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Why are you afraid of what I'm about to say? Hear it.
Okay, let me hear it.
It is not good, not fair. It's not good for you to demonstrate to Kenyans that you don't understand what SI means. SI in no way means that you are somebody who can foresee issues. That is simply the international standard.
All right,
it is called Système International.
Fantastic.
It's a French word. So all he was saying, can you relax?
Yes, I'm
What's
relaxing.
wrong with the youth? You are embarrassing the youth.
Okay.
Why don't you drink?
Okay,
why don't you drink from my knowledge?
Okay, let me drink from your knowledge.
You see, where we have reached politically, we did not happen there. We have earned this journey. Why some of us speak and some people, not all of them,
yes,
listen, is because we have earned where we are. So if in the process of taking a position, some people or many people from my community and beyond will accept with that position, don't blame me. I have earned it.
All right. So you're the international standard unit.
Well,
so you're cutting shorts.
yeah, so
Otiende Amolo.
is the barometer of lawyer politics.
Barometer is
but Raila is not the one.
I never said
that is the context of
barometer.
this. I think only two things. One is that anybody who has been in this country knows that Raila Amolo Odinga is easily the most experienced politician practicing in this country today. And anybody who argues with that is arguing with history. Number two, what we need to do now, in my view, is to coordinate the efforts. There are too many efforts: the IBC change effort, the elections date change effort, the change in terms of number of constituencies and counties, the proposal in terms of the Building Bridges initiative, the initiative to reduce cost of government, and the question of censors. We need to bring this together. And in my view, I think it is time the two speakers of parliament sat down so that we have a joint committee of the Senate and the National Assembly purposed to look at all this in context.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Aaron Cheriot, your parting shots, please.
Just two things that I want to quickly say. I just want to appeal to my friends Jakoyo and Otiende that appreciate the dynamics of our politics, that it's different contextually where we come from. Because if where you come from, you are elected based on how many times you sing Raila's name, it's not the same for us. It's different. We are measured by other things. And therefore, when we don't do it, do not begrudge us.
Thank you.
In conclusion, I agree with the thought, and I think I was among the first people to say this last week, that only way that we can figure it out, because it's now clear that almost all Kenyans agree that there are to be certain changes to the constitution. Then let us hear out in an organized format what everybody holds and thinks that should change in our constitution.
Jacob Medio, your parting shots,
format,
please.
but let me remind Moses Kuria and Aaron Cheriot that the word a thief is not in their vocabularies.
What?
Thief. And Boni, it is in your vocabulary. So whatever you're trying to sell is going to be very difficult to sell, because we will be out there. We shall protect the public good, anybody who is a thief will not be our president.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moses Kuria?
I want to assure Jakoyo and everyone that as Kenyans we are going to be. You do not hold the monopoly of telling us who is clean, who is not clean, what is right, what is not right. But there you are going to be in for a very rude shock. I thought that you will take the 5 years that the people of game give you a break to think reasonably. But let me tell you something, we'll be there today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Thank you. Thank you very much, panelists. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. But of course, I was expecting also Moses Kuria will have clarified the Punguza Mizigo initiative.
Yeah,
that
it
you
is very
started.
much on.
Yeah, it is yours. That was your idea?
That was my idea. I was here, but Ekuro Court is jobless, so I've let him run with it for the time now. I think I'm going to appoint him the CEO of Punguza Mzigo.
Thank you.
While I remain, the vice chairman.
Thank you. We'll get another chance, of course. Thank you very much.